Welcome to Dropped In, beautiful Leslie Lee. I am so excited to welcome you back to Dropped In and for today's conversation.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. We're going to talk about one of my favorite things,
Which is what?
legacy leadership.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Full body shivers already. For those listening that don't know who you are, I would love for you to just to share your magic and medicine with us.
I have a lot of magic and I like to provide a lot of medicine. My background is in business, which is always been one of my biggest passions. In my lifetime, I have run and operated several businesses. In my early 20s, I started a clothing business with my then husband and business partner. And we grew that business in a way that was completely organic and completely self-financed. And at the time, I would have told you, I felt like we were learning as we went, but really we were so strategic in everything we did because our long goal was about improving the quality of the world. Every decision we made went through a filter of being worldwide. So it had to be a win-win-win situation for corporate or stakeholders, for employees, as well as for our clients in the world. And one of the things I will tell you I'm most proud about in that business is the method in which we worked and operated. We developed our people. We had our outside boundaries of our goals within the business. And within that, we managed our people to accomplish their own goals. And the magic that created it within the company, that the corporate culture was so solid, it was just still makes my heart happy when I talk about it.
Mm.
And knowing those people now in the world, most of them are doing really cool things. We developed some very successful people, and that probably is one of my proudest things in business. I'm going to cry.
I can
So
feel
funny.
it.
And since then, I have opened 2 clinics, integrative health clinics, coached hundreds of people through many successes, and I continue that work in what I would or we would call legacy leadership, because that is where change really happens in the world. I love working with people on a one-to-one basis. As a Bowen therapist, I've really learned the value of creating a successful flow in somebody's system, whether that's their energetic system or their physical system. But when everything is flowing freely, magic can happen. We don't get sick as often. We are healthier and we become more effective so that we can receive more and give more. And there's a lot more joy in everything that we do. And I love business. I love my mind. Sometimes I talk to people and I wish I could turn off that, oh, well, why don't you do this? And I love working with people in that capacity and creative solutions to how to really resourcefully make things better. And yeah, those are the things I do. My mission has always been about nurturing environments in which people thrive.
Mm.
It has been my mission statement for my entire adult life. And over different times within my life, it's changed. Like that used to be, at one point it was making my house great so my children thrived. At one point it was going in and teaching my retailers that I was selling to how to merchandise more effectively so that we could both make more money on the products that I was selling them. And now in my business, that means nurturing people's nervous systems and enhancing their health so that they can go out and do what they do, and working with business owners so that not only are they personally regulated, but their business functions are regulated and operating in a way that it serves them. And the best part of that is it comes back to me tenfold. I love it. The more I do with people, the more I gain, and that makes my heart just bust with joy.
Oh, so much juice here. My body is like literally flooded with shivers, and I can't help but be moved by how moved you are by the profound ripple effect that you created within your global collective company and the lives that you impacted with your high retention rate of your employees. Like, it's moving.
And I'm still friends with many of them.
That's incredible.
This is the stuff that makes me very emotional as well. When I get in touch with that deep gratitude about who people are and what they are, which is why I'm all weepy and weird right now. But I think that retention goes long beyond having an employee stay with us for 3 years. It's that retention truly is about knowing that we've impacted their lives and that they've impacted our lives, and that will continue in whatever capacity that is. I think our employees all have certain goals when they come to us, and it is business. That's why they're there. And it can be such a rich interaction.
100%.
Yeah.
So I know your business. How long ago was this? Your business.
I started it, this is going to age me. I started it when I was 23.
Okay.
Okay. And that was in 1990.
Okay. So I would imagine in 1990, personal development wasn't a
Good Lord.
conversation topic, right?
No.
No. And yet you infused that into Global Collective, didn't you?
Daily. I infused it to every touch point within our business from the time the employees went through the door, our peer leader driver came through the door, or every phone call that came into the business. I think a receptionist within a business is probably one of the most important points for a business because it's the front door. And what they do or say, and receptionist is probably the wrong word, but that first point of contact within a business, because online businesses now have a different version of that. But that first point of contact sets the tone for everything. And personal development is professional development, in my opinion. I have always believed in that. I believe that when we are regulated physically, emotionally, spiritually, that's when we have something to offer. It's our mind is clear. People innately want to learn and do a good job and make people proud. Innately, that's human nature. So if we provide an environment for that to happen, we don't even have to ask for it.
Yeah. So how innovative of you to have infused that into your business years ago. And as a result, you had this high retention of employees.
And that is very strange when employees, we were a very creative development company. And most of our employees were in their mid-20s. That is a strange age to have somebody stay with you for 15 years. But they did. Yeah.
Yeah. And I would imagine because you brought forth this innovative way of professional development, personal development, your productivity rate was much higher.
Insanely. We were competing against companies we were a team of, at max about 30 people within our home office and doing, I can't even remember what the numbers are, but under $10 million yearly. And we were competing with companies that were billions of dollars, like billions every year. The benefit and the belief system I had is we had to be faster, smarter, more creative, more committed to our people. The way I approached sales is all of my competitors became my friends because I did not believe in the competition. I believed when I brought that person up, they would bring me up. And that is what happened. We were never a threat to people. That kind of stuff goes a long way in the business world. And it is not normal. Come from a place of there isn't enough business. I have to protect my space. And that person's going to take some if I'm not careful.
100%.
And I just don't believe in that.
No, like that scarcity.
I believe we have to be smart because there's a lot of people out there that are trying to do things that aren't so great. But I believe that when we open up I would call it trust. When we create an environment of trust and integrity, it just brings the community bigger and bigger. And that is how we grew that company. It is how I've grown my clinics. It's how I've grown my clientele. And it is how I operate.
Profound. You also shared something really potent. And so for those listening that aren't aware, Leslie is my chosen sister. And Leslie came into my life as a sister-in-law, and just instantly, Les, I was so drawn to you and your creativity and your innovative ways, and also the beautiful business conversations that left me feeling so energetically rich after every time that I just wanted to be in your space all the time. Because I was like, there's not many people in my space. Actually, there isn't anybody in my space at that time that I was able to have these such enlivening conversations. And I know you feel the same. And it's like we have this kind of, I think you actually activated that within me. So thank you very much for having this like business strategy concept, because it's, oh yeah, like there's so much abundantly available for individuals as entrepreneurs, but then also for all of these corporations. And I know you and I have this huge vision of bringing these types of conversations not only to solopreneurs, but also to corporations because of the amount of productivity that can be infused into their establishments. Would you agree?
Absolutely. And it makes my heart happy to hear what you just said. It actually, again, I could probably cry if I thought about it too much, so I'll skip that. But it is why I've always been drawn to you as well. And it's no wonder now that we are business partners in this new project. And I think that that concept that you're talking about, taking it into business, I think that there's this perception that it's going to be expensive, it's going to be difficult, it's going to have all these what do they call, speed bumps to implement this stuff. But it's like instant transformation. Once you get a new distinction, it's like finding a new muscle or that balance when you learn how to ride a bicycle. If you think of a child learning how to ride a bicycle, they do not have the distinction of balance. And once they turn those pedals, it's 3 rotations, about all it takes. And then they have that distinction. And that distinction doesn't ever go away. It just gets better. So with that little muscle, you can take it, develop it, and learn it. It is so easy. It's like a natural process. So implementing these strategies and ideas and concepts within a corporate world for professional development is, I think, it has the ability to transform entire communities within
Yeah,
easily.
And that is legacy work right there.
Yes.
And that is what lights us both up, isn't
Yeah.
it?
It makes a huge difference. Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. So I know for the reason, like how I got into the work that I do is I struggle with my mental health and I struggle with so much. And I tried the traditional route, which works for many people, but it definitely did not work for me. It actually made things worse. And so I made a vow when I was feeling so alienated, so alone, and I literally didn't want to be here any longer, that I would do everything in my power to help others on their healing path. And so I got to work in finding various ways to, not knowing what it was then, because one day I woke up and I wasn't bulimic anymore. And I was like, wow, like people are like, how did that happen? I'm like, I don't know. But knowing what I know now, it was through nervous system rewiring and subconscious recoding is exactly how it happened. Because I was working with hypnotherapists, I was working with coaches trained in NLP, I was working with somatic therapists. And this is what has allowed me to get into returning back to what I'd say my self-source power. Which then, because I made a vow to that younger self, if I could help myself on my journey, then I will do everything in my power to help others who once felt like I did. Which then led me into the work that I do today, which is literally when I wake up every single day and pinch myself that I get to do this work because of the ripple effect it's creating. It is real and profound, and I don't take it lightly. And then fast forward to being in this industry for well over 10 years now, I realized that there was a lack of integrity and a lack of trust. And there's really good marketers out there, but not necessarily really great consultants, coaches, mentors, business owners, entrepreneurs. And it makes me cry, actually. It gets me really emotional thinking of how many people have been led astray thinking that they're this way, the strategy is the next best methodology. But in all reality, what it comes back to is, of course, leading with heart, leading with trust, leading with integrity, but the nervous system. This is the work. This is the secret sauce. And I would imagine most entrepreneurs, would you agree that they don't even recognize I need this work? The people that I'm working with today, high level, high achieving CEOs, they come to me and their stress is around 8 out of 10. And they think that's normal.
Yeah.
Guess what happens when we get that stress level from an 8 to a 0 or a 1?
You feel amazing.
Yeah.
I have people when I work on them one-on-one on the table, they'll come in and they look a particular way and they look like a little frazzled hedgehog. And I can see it in their gait, they can't hold eye contact, like very little idiosyncrasy. Pop them on the table for 45 minutes and they come out with crazy hair and their eyes are white and bright and everything is different. And last week alone, I had this woman come to me. She goes, I don't even understand what you did to me. Like, I, I don't know to describe how I feel, but I feel so relaxed. I'm like, this is what it feels like when your nervous system is regulated. She's really? Yeah. And this is where you want to retrain your nervous system to be on a regular basis so that you can function better. She's like, okay, yeah, no, I'm going to do that for sure. It was such a funny conversation. And she's been back, of course. And it's a very interesting process when you start retraining somebody's nervous system.
It is.
And it takes some work. Like you need to be introduced to it. And then your body has to feel safe with it. And then you change your environment and that has to feel safe. And then you have to retrain the people around you and that has to feel safe. And it just gets easier and easier over time. I want to circle back to something that you said that really I've never thought about before. My background was business. I went into one-on-one business and then I'm coming back to business. And you're just behind, you're just younger. We only had 2 of those. But it's a really fascinating cycle where we're both now going into this Legacy Leadership of Canada, which is our new passion project. So excited because we're bringing what we know from working one-to-one into groups of people. And it makes me like so excited. Like,
Yeah. This is the legacy work. So for those listening, you could hear the passion within Leslie and what she shared from like global collective and now to the work that you do on the table with individuals and obviously the work that I do. This is what gets us up first thing in the morning. What keeps us up late at night is this profound ripple effect that's creating within themselves, the community, the collective, and generations to come. This
100%.
is the legacy work. And so it was the beginning of this year and let's just have a day like where we are masterminding and we're supporting each other in one another's businesses. And all of a sudden it just went rogue and created this business, Legacy Leaders of Canada. And we're like far out, like
6 hours.
Yeah.
It was January 3rd. January 3rd, 2025, in 6 hours, we created this brilliant concept. And it is honestly one of the things that lights me up. It's changed all of my business practices, even within myself, and certainly with the people that I work with in consulting in their businesses. It's completely changed. Fantastic.
It is. So we got down and dirty, pen to paper, and it's, wow, this is something that was literally birthed on January 3rd. And here we are now. We are about to have our very first business retreat experience for whether you're a solopreneur or you are wanting to bring your team with you to this event, this experience. It is going to be freaking a game changer. Wouldn't you agree?
100%. I feel like it's our launch event.
It is.
I'm not even sure I like the word business retreat. I think it's like a deep centered immersion in networking, in expanding, and free thinking, free creative thinking, a weekend of creative thinking.
Yeah.
In ways of expanding our legacies and anchoring it into something that is actionable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know, like I shared, a lot of the people I work with, they think it's normal to be operating at an 8 out of a 10 for stress or pressure or overwhelm. And
they like it.
There's a better way. Yeah. Some people I like to have that pressure. It motivates me. I'm like, imagine if you had that inner pharmacy that's open and awake and alive that's supporting you, how much more productivity you'll get done from a place of pleasure, from a place of power rather than pressure. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Lex, honestly, like I see the effects physically in people. All of a sudden, it sounds silly, but things that are held in us, we start sleeping better, or weight releases, or suddenly we start going to the gym again. And it's like everything. It's not just our business. And the bottom line increases.
Yeah. Which every entrepreneur wants, don't they?
That's why we do what we do.
Yeah. One of the reasons.
It's a big part. People work. Our world is based on money. We work to earn income and we want nice lifestyles. I don't think we can smudge over that. I think it's a part of business.
100%.
Financial gains are a really critical part of why we do what we do. The driving force behind that is our unique stories and really the fuel.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't begin to tell you how many people I know that, whether you're a realtor or whether, let's talk into who this would be for.
Okay, everybody. I think it's for so many different people. People that are in businesses that they don't feel like they're in businesses, like you said, realtors. I'm in the world of clinicians. What's my experience that I work with many doctors. I think people in transition in business where we're recreating ourselves. I'm of the age right now that many of my associates are retiring from their business and recreating a new business. I think it's appropriate for them. I think it's appropriate for people that manage teams, like large teams of people. And the thing that I would say is a critical part of it as a leader, I think a lot of times we feel lonely in our businesses and like the world's on our shoulders and we have to be a particular way. I think it's for everybody that feels like that in business, which, as far as I can tell so far, that's everybody in business.
Yeah.
Not you're an employee sitting in an accountant office and you want to get promotions coming down the road and your long-term goal is to be a partner. It's for those people. It's for people that are starting out. I have a daughter that's a graphic artist and building her clientele and her contracts is one of her hardest things in business. So I think that I can't tell you, I think it's not for somebody.
So true.
Yeah. This particular retreat is for women. We're cutting out 50% of the population this in May and that weekend, but that is our direction. In the corporate world, though, it's amazing working with men because implementing that heart-centered leadership into the masculine business world.
Yeah. Yeah. So I want to go in two different places. I'm going to bookmark one and speak into the other. So during this retreat, it's a 2-day experience. And it's very intentional, of course, just like everything we do. But the first day is all about nervous system and rewiring and building that internal environment that really starts to support the external environment. We finished that day off with going to the Grotto Spa and going into the pools. And it's just like taking that deep exhale. I can feel it already. And just as a result, you already spoke into this, like when we rewire our nervous systems, it creates so much more spaciousness, so much more breathing room where the downloads start to come through. So I know for a fact, and this is probably overly confident in myself, but there's going to be some downloads that are coming in hot that people didn't even think about for their businesses. Like the visions, the ideas, the innovations are just going to come in. Who turned on the water? Because it's free flow energy from here.
That is where creativity comes from. Yeah.
100%. And then the next day is all about really setting everybody up for success as they leave the space. And we come into a space of even more networking, masterminding, and really like giving them the rituals to infuse into their day to create that optimal success within themselves, within their community, the collective, and generations to come. This is the legacy work.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel it's going to be an incredibly productive weekend. In my opinion, one of the best investments in time for business owners.
Yeah.
And fun.
Fun. Totally.
Like the whole point of this weekend is fun, networking, productivity, and making things happen.
Totally. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. It's going to be very light, very energetically rich. And this is what I love about you and I is that we are innovators, right? And I don't know anyone else doing this type of work. No.
I've been to a lot of networking events lately. Every communication and speaker that I hear totally skips over the nervous system, the internal, actually more than nervous systems, it's the internal systems and what needs to happen. And that's like the white, every time I go into those environments, it's the white elephant in the room. I can look around and see it in people. They're like, yeah, but yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like blank stares at the stage.
Totally. Remember that one event we went to, and no disrespect whatsoever, it was a fantastic event, but there was some speakers in a panel, and they were talking about money and finances, and they had everybody raise whoever could agree with the statement of who was fearful of the world today and like the finances, and everyone had put up their hand. So now we get to get everyone activated, but there's no support in that. So I was like, oh, this is terrible. This was a terrible idea, because now we have activated people.
It's so funny. Yeah. Infill that, just anchor that fear in for us, please.
Yeah. I was like, first and foremost, I didn't put my hand up because I don't subscribe to that whatsoever. And secondly, I'm like, there's a better way. Right. But these conversations are not had in these types of rooms. And so what I bookmark was like, so what we're so excited about is a Legacy Leaders Retreat coming up, and the early bird pricing ends on May 1st. So as you listen to this, you want to run, don't walk, to go reserve your space, because there is limited spaces. We want to keep this space really intimate and energetically rich for all the beautiful people coming. So as soon as you hear this, stop what you're doing, run and save your space, because you're also going to receive $222 off when you reserve your space before May 1st. Second to the bookmark is, let's just talk about the ripple effect that's going to happen in these corporations. Like because this is a freaking power move, Les, what we're doing. It's like big picture vision. It's like bringing this to these spaces. Can you see that type of legacy work right there?
That's the end goal. That is what lights us up, or lights me up. I'm speaking for us. And yeah, absolutely. That is the way of the world. Corporate wellness. It is my opinion, if any corporation out there isn't paying full attention right now to corporate wellness, they're not going to be as successful as possible, because the world is full of stressors. The world is full of fears, and the emotional, there's statistics on this stuff, right? The levels of stress people are under, all that kind of stuff. It's out there and it's existing, and we can't expect to go through our world without addressing that white elephant. And the corporations that are implementing corporate wellness programs are going to be the ones creating the long-term legacies.
Yeah.
It just is.
It is.
And employee retention, employee productivity, health and well-being, it comes down to safety. It's a health and safety measure, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And who doesn't want to go to work? Seriously. We spend so much time at work. Why would you not want it to be as good as possible?
100%. 100%. I just thought of something like, from being in retired nurse, like imagine bringing this type of work into healthcare.
It would light my heart like none other, because the workers that are out there right now working on our behalf are so tired and so burnt out. I work at a retreat center on Gabriel Island regularly. A good portion of those people are nurses.
Yeah.
Because they are done.
Yeah. Burnt out.
And then it affects marriages, it affects children. So it affects generations to come when that happens. If we could make that effect, I have goosebumps right now.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
Infinite possibilities.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. As you can tell, we could be here all day.
I don't even know how long we've been here, but
I don't either. But we are going to come back and share more of this, because this was just the beginning. This is legacy work, and we are both here for this. Please ensure, if this resonated, share this episode with your colleagues, with your team members, with your friends, your fellow entrepreneurs, whomever you feel like this would be a great addition to your space. Please do. And we will definitely be back to share more of this big picture vision that we've had for.
Yes. So join us at Tinamera, May 31st and June 1st. And let's launch this legacy leadership and do it.
Let's do it. Mwah. Love you so much, Les. Mwah. Most people think scaling is about doing more. More strategy, more hours, more effort. Your success isn't about how hard you work. It's about how well your nervous system can hold what you're building. If your body is stuck in survival mode, no strategy in the world will make scaling feel sustainable. You'll stay in this cycle of overthinking, self-sabotaging, pushing harder while getting nowhere. Not because you don't know what to do, but because your system isn't wired to receive what you're working for. That's why I created the Inner Pharmacy Playbook. 143 power pages of real, high-level strategy to regulate your nervous system, rewire resistance, and finally step into momentum that sticks. Because you weren't meant to build your empire through exhaustion. You were meant to build it with ease, clarity, and power. And that starts here. Go to the show notes and grab your copy of the Inner Pharmacy Playbook, because the next level of your business is not about grinding harder. It's about becoming the version of you who can hold it all.